Welcome back to the Full Time Ultras, and we finally had days to digest one of the most important games in this season's Premier League. We thought it would be something which is going to give us a lot of entertainment, but in the end, it turned out an utter snooze fest. We're talking about Arsenal and Manchester City. That's where we're going to focus on. We're also going to look at the title race and who finds themselves in the most favorable spot going into this title charge. We're also going to look at the problems that are constantly facing Chelsea and Manchester United as well. Two horrible results for them. So we're also going to focus on that. And towards the end of the show, we're going to look at the upcoming games in the future, in the upcoming game week, especially Chelsea facing United. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Joining me is the virtual gang. We've got our Arsenal fan first, all the way from Bangkok, Thailand, to review how his team did. Raghu, how are you?
Good, Shan, and good to be back discussing football. Part of me is relieved that the game is over, but yeah, overall a decent game week.
You look like you've just woken up after 2 days after that game.
Yeah, to be honest, it was quite exciting,
Yeah.
and it was quite a battle of the defenses, right? From that lens, it was pretty entertaining, and I think up until even the 75th minute, I thought there would be a result one way or another.
Mm.
But again, two equally good sides, and of course, City having that home advantage coming into the game was quite tricky. But I think we could have clinched or done better with the chances that we got.
We'll get into the specifics soon, but we've also got Raghu's brother Raghav joining us on his first virtual session, I guess.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
how are you doing?
Interestingly enough, it's also my first ever podcast with Google on the same panel. We and Google have never been on the panel before
Oh,
together.
not even the first video, na?
No,
You were
no,
not
no,
on the.
no,
Oh,
no.
wow.
This is the
Debuts,
first time me
debuts.
and Google are on the same panel. Let's get ready for
Nice.
some fireworks.
Fireworks. And we've got Gogol joining us all the way from down under, Sydney, Australia. How are you, man?
Good, good, good. I mean, can't say
Has the
good
has the
after
anger
the.
has the anger has the anger died down?
No, no, I've channeled all of that for today. So I'm gonna vent out today on the podcast. So
We'll try our best, guys, to keep it PG. But if we cross any borders, I don't know. I can't say sorry. But anyway, we'll straight away get started with the first game, and it was one of the most important games. But eventually, like we said, it turned out in a little bit of a snooze fest. My I'll start with you, Raghu. My basic uh, view on that game was I think Arsenal set up in a way which was a little bit defensive. I felt that they could have got their team a little bit more attacking. But I think they were a side that looked happy to kind of play for a draw. City, for me, on the other hand, also didn't have much going on. I think Arsenal defended really, really well. Some very interesting stats is Arsenal are the first team in 47 home games at City to stop them from scoring. So that is something which is really, really no team has done it, and Arsenal has gone over there and stopped City from scoring. So really impressive in that point of view. But offensively, they didn't do anything much to trouble City. Uh, Raghu, I'll start with you. What did you make from that game? Like, are you happy with how this game turned out? Obviously, you would have wanted to have won this game, but considering Arsenal's record at the Etihad, which has been horrible as of late, are you happy with this result?
Yeah, I mean, going into the game, if you would have asked me, I think quite the opposite, to be very frank. Like going into the game, I was like, it's a tough fixture. City, the side we've put up is we there were some injury issues and concerns knocking around here and there. It was like, okay, let's get a draw and get done with this fixture. But to be frank, the way the game went on, I really think it, especially in the first half, we could have done better with the chances that we got. look, we knew that City are not going to be giving us possession. They love keeping the ball, and they're a team that just presses like anything. They're amazing and probably the best in Europe at playing from the back in that sense lately. So we weren't probably. I knew we wouldn't get much of the ball, and there wouldn't be a lot of attacking football, so to speak. It's all strategic. Depends on and off the ball movements.
It was
But
like
I
a chess
think
game,
the
basically.
exactly, and the chances that we got were really. I think we came really close, but we lacked the finishing and that fire power up front. Uh, Defensively, I would say we did a commendable job. Speak of KVR or our entire defense line, and also how Saka and Jesus inverted when they were tracking back. They came
Hmm.
in and they inverted, and they also pushed the defense, supported with the defense, and then they were all around the place. So that was really impressive to see as a collective unit. But just feel that we could have, clinched one or two of those chances, just like we did in the, let's say, the home fixture, right? Like we didn't get many chances there as well, in spite of it being at Emirates. But
Hmm.
we got that one goal that helped us and initially, and so that could have maybe helped in this case. But yeah, nonetheless, to your point, I think draw is not a bad result. Am I superbly happy? Probably not, because looking at April, we have around 6 to 8 games, 6 games probably. So
Hmm.
it is hectic, but it's the as I said, relief is that the main one is gone, and now we look forward to the remaining ones. We're playing Luton next.
Yeah. Gogol, as a neutral, what did you make of the game, and especially what did you make of how Manchester City played? Because this season we keep saying, or I've kept saying, that Manchester City look like a team that have not been very dominant, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the likes of Chelsea go there and give them a game. We've seen Brentford go there and you know lose 1-0. City have not been blitzing past teams like they were doing last season, where Haaland has been scoring goals for fun, and like it's been non-stop
Yeah.
goals. It's not that. There's something that is looking weak about that City team. What did you make of about their performance? Do you think that City were themselves a little bit scared to put that little bit of an attacking foot so that they wouldn't concede? And do you think that was the right strategy from them?
I mean, yeah, adding to your point, City definitely do not look at their best. I mean, not
Hmm.
only talking about this game, the last three City games that I watched was City United, City Liverpool, and City Arsenal. Even in the
Yeah.
United game, where they were
Hmm.
constantly attacking, at no
Yeah.
point in the first half I thought, okay, they have a real threat or something. You know,
Exactly.
they were just passing the ball around near the 18-yard box, but
Hmm.
there was no runs, there were no balls that was piercing through the United defense. Couple of good
Exactly.
crosses, but that expected of any team nowadays. So it
I think we
wasn't the
were both, in
classic.
fact, United and Chelsea were very wasteful in their
Yeah,
chances, because I remember Chelsea were far the better team in the first half. They
we had
missed
better
a lot of
chances.
chances to
Yeah,
go 2-0. And I remember Rashford had that one chance where he was clean through, but he
yeah,
headed it down, and then
down.
Walker
Yeah,
could come and collect it. Because if they would, if that would have been 2-0, it would have probably been a
yeah.
different story in those games.
Even the
So,
Liverpool game, you look at the second half, where was City? Where was their attack? Where was
yeah.
De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland? Nowhere. They
Hmm.
were just sitting back and trying to absorb the Liverpool pressure. A Liverpool team which is completely crippled by injuries were
Yeah.
at that time. Half of their best players were missing. Their half of the starting 11 was missing. And to that team, you sit back against that team. So definitely City were not at their best. And talking about this game from a neutral perspective, I would say that every night I use music to fall asleep. Now I can just watch the City Arsenal game.
Yeah.
It works better. It
Yeah.
helps sleep.
Raghav, what is your view on the game? I think you have a lot of controversial opinions that you're trying to get out of you. What did you make of the game?
I mean, it never felt. I never felt that it lived up to the hype. Like it felt like oh भाई आज 3-all होएगा, आज मारेगा हालैंड हैट्रिक मारेगा, हैवर्ट्स ये करेगा वो होगा, घंटा कुछ हुआ. There was nothing, and it felt like both the teams were set up to like our first priority is not to lose.
Yeah,
Mm.
Like
both teams,
we
they
would
weren't
rather
playing to
take a
win,
point.
they were playing not to
Exactly,
lose.
Yeah.
exactly. So their priority in this game felt like I would rather take 1 point than zero.
Mm.
I would rather have that 1 point than go for three.
Yeah.
And that approach, I think, restricted the ability of both the teams they weren't let out. They weren't let out of their leash by both the managers. And
Mm.
I think playing four centre backs, eight centre backs were played in 22 players.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot about how the teams were set up.
Yeah, but I think City were basically restricted to do that because
Injuries.
of they had injuries. Arsenal have been doing that all season because Ben White.
all along.
I don't think you can categorize Ben White as a
Yeah.
centre back because
No, but my point is,
the
even if John
the
Stones was there,
inversion and all.
even if John Stones was there, it's
Yeah.
basically that the four centre backs are playing in the back four.
No, but Kyle Walker would have played. Nah, if Kyle
Yeah.
Walker was fit, Walker would have played as the fullback. And then they always have been playing one of Guardiola or Ake as the left hand
Left.
side
Yeah.
because that's what Arteta does with Ben White as well. Zinchenko has not been working for
Yeah,
Arsenal. I think
Yeah.
Arsenal really need a left back because like I know Raghu, you highlighted that Kivior was for you he played well, but I think that is a very weak point for Arsenal in terms of their
You could
fullback,
see that on the
their left back
pitch.
especially.
You could see
Yeah,
that on the
Yeah.
I
pitch.
think Bernardo, I think Kivior was doing nothing to give uh, Jesus the support in terms of a more attacking structure because playing a flat back four was allowing City to come more into Arsenal's box because they knew that they didn't have the pace of a fullback to overlap Jesus, right? And I felt also, Raghu, I want to ask your take on it. I felt that Jesus was really poor in that game. There's something about him where he rushes decisions that I don't like. And in a game like this, I think you need a more calmer presence in this game. Before the show starting, you were saying that I don't think Arsenal could have done much different in terms of even the lineup. But I think when Trossard came on, there was something from Arsenal when it came to the attacking side of the game. I know Martinelli was not fit enough; he's just come
Yeah.
in. But for me, I felt Trossard should have started this game. What do you feel? Do you think it should have been the case, or Jesus was the right person to start with?
Yeah, so just to wind back on Kivior, I don't think Kivior is set up to be a player who can invert or provide that support down the
Hmm.
flank as well and towards attack. So I think we position like when and there's a difference that you can literally see when Kivior is playing versus when Zinchenko is playing. Zinchenko is much more attacking and going up front, fearless, but Kivior is more focused on holding the fort in that position, in that area.
Hmm.
So from that lens, I think as players, they differ in their qualities and what they bring to the table. And probably Arteta was looking to get the most out of Kivior being in the starting lineup. Uh, so probably where Declan Rice plays a more important role in connecting the bridges in that sense. But on the point you mentioned on Jesus, uh, I mean there were three chances where I wish he was faster in decision making,
Hmm.
right? He tried to cut back. I know City is a team, when they're defending, they're going to throw all players in front of the ball, but
Yeah.
you are expected to do something more creative in that sense.
Hmm.
And he just wasted those chances, right? And these were shooting opportunities
One
right outside the
especially where
box.
he was
Yeah.
cutting in, he had two chances before he
I
took
mean,
the shot to actually
Correct,
take the shot.
first half,
So
correct.
you could literally say that he was allergic to shooting. He's just trying
exactly.
Yeah,
to make space, make space, make space. But if it's not happening,
and
find an
and
outball
there is no
somehow.
space. There
There
is
And
is no
no
space.
space.
You have to
exactly,
He's
find an outball somehow. Pass it to someone, but don't waste the opportunity by just shooting when you have four guys in front of you. After you have
yeah.
wasted the counter,
after
after you have
waiting. Yeah,
taken so
And
much
I
time.
think you have to like. I think shooting was in that scenario. Shooting was the right decision, but I think he should have shot it way earlier
Yeah,
because when
exactly.
yeah,
you're taking because that was the difference when Arsenal played City in the first game. They took a shot and that deflected and it went in.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you have to take your chance over there, but you have to be smart enough
Much
to
more
take it earlier
decisive.
as well.
You could say
Exactly.
that he was
Yeah.
trying to find space, but it was too much of doing that. He was overdoing it, trying to find space. The
Yeah.
And
first time you get a
also
ball,
for
you
me
have
is
one
that
man in front of you. You got to shoot then.
Jesus is a player who's known to play centrally, right?
Yeah,
And he's been put out on the left. So for me, rather when you have a designated left-sided player in Trossard, right, who's on the bench, I felt that he should have started the game because the creativity he has, he's always turned up in big games as well. He has that mentality to score in that big game. He scored a hat trick at Anfield. So he has that big game mentality thing in him, and I think Arsenal missed the trick with him. Your thoughts,
Yeah.
Raghu, on that?
Yeah, I do agree that Trossard could have started this game and it could have played out differently, like the first half. Speaking of Trossard, like recently, even when he turned up against Porto, that was, I would
Yeah.
say, super crucial for us, right? And it
Mhm.
came right at the perfect time where we needed a goal desperately. So I think he does turn up, and that could have maybe made a difference to our first half performance. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. That's one thing we could have done better. And Martinelli, of course, injury probably stopped, but Martinelli, Trossard could have been more better options. And then he's just playing more centrally in that sense. Yeah, so
I
not
think that
yeah,
Guardiola.
to make it a better Easter. But anyway,
No, I think that just one point on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Kibio thing, because I think Guardiola also got something wrong there because he could have easily put Phil Foden on the right,
Mm.
because he could have caused more problems than Bernardo Silva did to Jakub Kivior, in my opinion, because Ben White is a better defender than Kivior.
I agree
So
with you on that.
he had lesser problems in dealing with Phil Foden, and he had a better forward line defender in Saka, tracking back and helping Ben White. So if there was Phil Foden on the right, and he's usually played there for City this season, if Phil Foden was on the right, I think he could have caused more problems for Kivior and the Arsenal backline, and I think City could have had a breakthrough in that game.
Because that's exactly what I'm trying to say is that Guardiola went very respectful as well, right?
Yeah,
Because when you start with Kovacic and Rodri, that means you're limiting either one of you're putting one of Doku,
yeah.
Alvarez, or
Or
Grealish on the bench, right? Normally, which Pep wouldn't do. So I was a little bit surprised with that decision. Maybe we all are right in a way that both teams did not want to lose the game rather than think of winning the game. So I think that was one of the places where Pep kind of played it very very respectful and treated this game like a final, which as a neutral we didn't want, but that's what happened. Let's mix it up. I know it's a different game, but obviously it's a three-horse title race. So let's also get Liverpool into the picture, right? I don't think there's anything much to discuss in terms of how Liverpool played. I think Liverpool was supposed to win that game and they did their job and they won the game, right? They went down to a very well taken goal from Welbeck and then after that they came in and they did their job. But I'll start with you, Gogol. I
Yeah.
think in all these two games which happened, Liverpool end the game week as winners, right? Because
Oh,
two teams
clearly.
dropping points and Liverpool
Yeah.
just taking their chance. And if you look at the fixtures ahead as well, they have the favorable run. So let's all get our views on Liverpool. I'll start with you, Google. What do you make of Liverpool and
I
them
mean,
going
talking
forward?
about Liverpool, I'll just say that once they won that game, I don't understand how Arsenal and City, after seeing that result, would play so defensively.
Hmm.
Because if you drop points, you are not on top. You're what Arsenal is 2 points behind Liverpool now,
mm,
and City
Arsenal
is
is two
yeah,
four
points.
points
City are
behind.
3 points.
it is four.
Three
Three
points.
City
points.
are 3 points.
3 points.
Three
Three
points
points
Yeah.
behind.
behind Liverpool.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if I was like, if I was an Arsenal fan or a City fan,
Hmm.
watching that Liverpool result, I would say that there is no way we can drop points tonight. We have to go for
Yeah.
that 3 points because it's not like you have 15, 16 games left. You have 9 games left. And when you're competing against teams such as Liverpool and Man City, there are very less chances that they're going to drop points. So
Yeah.
you've got to
Because they've
take,
been there and they've done
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
they're not going to play any game easy thinking. okay, this is a bit tough. We might just take 1 point. Nobody can afford that now. So I was very surprised that after that Liverpool result, Arsenal and City both played defensively. Talking about Liverpool, I mean, they have been shaky this season, and they've had their injury problems and everything. They have been a bit shaky this season. So they, like Man City, they haven't been at the top of their game. But they managed to get the results, which at the end of the day, that is all that matters. They got the 3 points. Alexis McAllister played a sensational game from
I
midfield.
think probably signing of the season
35 million for him.
in terms of the money
That's
to
the
the
best
ratio.
business that has happened in the last few years, I'd say.
Yeah,
Not just
in
this
terms of the
season,
price to
but
the
last few
ratio, I
seasons.
think the
Yeah.
signing of a season is somewhat different, who we'll get to later in the episode. But I think in terms of price to performance ratio, I think McAllister. Anyone disagrees with me?
I, I don't think
No, I
anyone
think
can.
Price to performance.
yeah,
To get someone like
Yeah,
McAllister in the current market for 35 million is outrageous.
Yes.
I mean, ब्राइटन ने भाई हमें इतना मतलब लूट लूट के खाया है
स्कैम
ऐसे
कर दिया भाई,
गंदे
स्कैम
गंदे
कर दिया,
प्लेयर्स के लिए।
स्कैम कर
और
दिया.
फिर मैकालिस्टर को लियो भाई, मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ अंदर अंदर का डील है कुछ तो। ये तो मतलब बहुत बुरा हुआ चेल्सी के साथ।
Raghav, what do you make of Liverpool's prospects? We looked at their fixtures earlier, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
all at that time we had come to a conclusion saying out of the top three teams, Liverpool have the easiest run in going ahead. Obviously, Liverpool are coming Sunday. They face Manchester United, so that will be a little bit of a tougher hurdle for them. They also have Tottenham to play. All of the top teams have Tottenham to play as well. So it's still 3 points, 9 games to go. Anything can happen. Any team could drop points anywhere. But considering all considering all the fixtures and everything that have to go through, right now we you can definitely say that it's Liverpool's to lose, right?
of course, because even when we were analyzing the fixtures for the title race, I said the same thing that Liverpool have the easiest run in because everybody have their fixtures in blocks and Liverpool have it scattered around.
Mm.
Like that's what I pointed out at that time as well, and I'm going to stick by it. And it's actually pay. It's showing as if it's going to pay off because Liverpool, if you look at their remaining games, I don't think apart from they have Manchester United, they have
Yeah,
Tottenham,
yeah.
and apart from that, there's 7 games.
They have
So
Villa as well. I think
they have
they
yeah.
have
Villa.
Villa in
Yeah,
that.
they do. They
Yes,
do. They have Villa.
they have
Villa
Villa in
away.
that. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
Villa away.
So relatively, if you look at it, Arsenal by the time we get to the last 3 or 4 games, they will have played all their difficult fixtures.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Arsenal will have left with will have a visit to Old Trafford left,
Yeah,
which
38,
yeah,
37.
37.
Yes,
So
yes.
which I will get to it, but I don't know how it's gonna turn out,
Yeah.
considering what the team is like. But yeah, I'm gonna stick by it and say gonna Liverpool are the most likely to win the Premier League based on the fixture.
Arsenal have to play Chelsea as well, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that
yes.
Arsenal.
that
The
fixture
game
got
that got
postponed.
Oh
postponed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
Arsenal
yeah,
have to play Chelsea yet, and Arsenal have
yeah.
to play Tottenham as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
So they have three tough fixtures
yeah.
to go through. Raghu, with that, what do you make of Arsenal going ahead? I think you guys have to win every game from now until
Yeah.
the end of the season because I think by drawing this game, I don't think you have any other choice. Like I know Liverpool maybe have they can afford to lose another game, just
No.
a little bit. They have, considering if you look at City and if you look at
Right.
Arsenal, with of course Liverpool are 2 points ahead of you.
Clear.
They're 3 points ahead. They have a little bit of a better wiggle room to kind of draw a game or lose a game, right? But
Yeah.
with Arsenal and City, they have to go and they have to win each and every game from here till the end of the season. City have
Yeah.
done that before. Y'all are here in this peculiar position for the first time.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts going into this? What do you want to see?
Uh, I do, of course, want to see. I think Liverpool, you're right, like they do have easier fixtures. But one thing to also account for is I don't know how much they've done well against. the mid-table teams or the smaller teams, right? So there's always that room. Of course, they're fueled by Klopp's last season, and that
Mm.
of course is mentally playing a huge role. But I think those matches are going to be those defining moments going forward. And I think just keeping our focus on the next game is probably going to help Arsenal. It's a tough April ahead of us, so that will be crucial. And yeah, beyond that, we can just hope that Liverpool drops some points. Yeah,
But like I'm also saying, looking at the positives, Arsenal have become one of the first teams to. I can't think of another team that stopped City from scoring in both legs, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, did United do it under Ole? I think so.
They won 2-1 and 2-0. So they
2-1 at the Etihad, no?
2-1
Okay,
at
yeah,
the
yeah. So
Etihad and then
I can't remember a last team who stopped City from doing that. And considering Arsenal would always go to the
Maybe
stop,
Tuchel's Chelsea
would
did
go
that.
to sorry.
Maybe Tuchel's Chelsea did that. Not in the league, probably. But we
Okay,
played City like 3 times in the Champions
yeah,
League winning year in like a
yeah.
space of 3 months, and we stopped them scoring. It was 1-0, 2-0, and then 1-0 in the Champions League final again,
Yeah,
I
but
think.
I'm saying because Arsenal normally in these big games would lose the plot. The older Arsenals at the
Oh,
season
yeah, yeah.
from the Arsenals from last seasons would do that. Last season they did it as well. They lost both their games to City, which eventually lost you all the title. But are you
Yeah.
happy, Raghu, with the progress overall? What will happen? That is a different case. But considering where from where you all were last season to where you all are right now, are you happy with?
Absolutely, man. I mean, it feels like a new Arsenal altogether, right? After all these years, so it's definitely a great time to be a fan, and I'm also excited about what Champions League is going to bring. That's going to be a very interesting fixture. I do feel somewhere we can get the better of Bayern, but again, we let's see. Uh, But apart from that, yeah, for the league, I think it is going to be tricky. But we take it one game at a time.
Do you think you're going to
Bournemouth
win
for
it?
another 10-2.
Do you think you're going to win
Sorry.
it, Raghu?
The
I'm
league
not talking to
looks,
you as a fan. Obviously, as a fan, you're going to be like, yeah, we're going to win it. But I'm going to make you think with your head and say
yeah.
that do you believe in this team to go and do it?
If okay, I'll say this: if there has ever been a team who could have done it in recent years, it's the current one. It wasn't the one probably last year or the year before that. But if you ask me honestly, looking at the wiggle room Liverpool has, probably they look closer to be getting it. Of course, as a fan, I want us to win, and
Mm.
I don't think we've ever had a better team in recent years. So I think this is our best shot. I don't know what next year has in store, but yeah, this is the closest we've gotten, and this gets even more exciting with three teams fighting for it. So
Raghav, your quick thoughts as to who do you think at this stage wins it?
I'm gonna stick by it because most likely Liverpool.
Mm.
But I agree with Raghu that Arsenal. This is the best chance that Arsenal has had in recent years.
Mm.
But I somehow feel that it's gonna be between Arsenal and Liverpool. It's not gonna be City this year.
You're saying City are not going to win it this year.
It's not City. It's not City.
Okay. What about you, Google?
I mean, this is one bet I would never take because this season none of the teams have looked that convincing,
Every
I'd
week
say.
it keeps
It
changing.
keeps
Na? Every
changing.
week
Yeah.
there's something new, and then tomorrow Arsenal will be
It's not
favorites,
like
and the next
the
day,
2019 or 2020 season, 2021 season where City and Liverpool were just blowing past the opponents.
yeah,
It's
just they're
not been
winning
like
their
that.
games
They're
consistently.
just
Yeah,
winning. The only team actually in these last couple of months that I've seen blow past mid-table teams is
is
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Their goal
So
difference is phenomenal. I'm
it's
like,
yeah,
what the
insane.
hell is that? We would normally attribute City to be in that
Yeah,
position where they're like blowing teams off, and I'm like Arsenal with what 56 or something
I
like
think
that.
they
And I'm
have the
like,
best goal difference among the three.
absolutely, they are way
yeah.
ahead.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are ahead
yeah.
by 10 goals or something, 10 or
Yeah.
11 goals or
No,
something.
I think it's on 46 and 40 something.
No,
No,
no, no.
Arsenal are
Arsenal
way
is
ahead.
a
Arsenal is
lot
10
ahead.
goals ahead of City and
It's
Liverpool.
all those
Arsenal
5
are
nil,
very
Yes,
6
ahead.
nil
Liverpool is
results
beating
they
them.
got like
They're
in
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
run
yeah.
that they
And
had where they were
Arsenal's
winning
defense is
5
also
nil
the best this season.
every week.
They've been the best
uh,
defense this
yeah.
season. Eight clean
So
sheets, I think.
that's a, seeing their performances in the last couple of months, 3 months, this calendar year, I would say I think Arsenal can do it. If
You think
they
Arsenal is going to win it?
if they keep their head right, if they have the
Hmm.
mentality there, which I think it has improved compared to last season, I
Go will
think
Arsenal have to beat Chelsea at
they can.
Stamford Bridge?
Yes,
No,
it's an
Emirates.
away game.
Is that
It's at
no?
Stamford. We
It's an
Is
away
lost
that
to
game
Stamford
there.
them
Bridge?
at
Oh
Emirates,
yeah, correct.
and
So they have to beat Chelsea at Stamford, which I don't remember when they did it last. The only memory that comes to
They
my head is oh yeah, recently,
we
last
did it
season.
recently. I think last
last
Oh,
last
season
last
season or
maybe,
the
season
season
maybe may
before.
have
maybe.
been
Last
last season
season,
only.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so they have to beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea can turn up as a league beater, or they could not beat a 10-man Burnley. Uh, they have to.
I was gonna say
They
that we
have to.
Stamford Bridge में उसे it doesn't make a difference. We couldn't beat 10 men
They.
Burnley.
That's what I said. So they have to beat. Google. They have to beat Tottenham,
Yeah.
and they have to come to Old Trafford. So three big teams they have to face.
And
Do you
so does
think this
Liverpool,
team
right?
can turn up
So does
and
City.
do it?
I think they
Oh wait,
Yeah.
can.
sorry. I think the Chelsea game is home. Shan, you were right.
Chelsea game is
The
away.
Exactly.
Chelsea
The
game is
Chelsea game
home.
is at
Yeah.
the Emirates. Yeah.
Tottenham is away.
Because I
Tottenham
remember
is away.
I
Yeah.
remember that it was the freak Mudryk goal. We
Yeah.
saw the
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
together.
The Declan
Right.
Rice,
Correct,
Chelsea were ahead. Yeah. That's why
Oh
I
right.
also I was like, yeah.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
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 And Tottenham
So
is away and
हाँ I
United.
think
United is.
Chelsea को हाँ तो ठीक है चल Chelsea को Emirates में ले लेंगे but
हाँ. Spurs को भी ले सकते हैं और United is also a joke team. So I mean,
but can I tell you one thing? I remember there was the David Moyes season when United were at one of their worst moments ever.
And you turned
Still
up and
Still, United turned up against Arsenal and won that game, and it was Van Persie who scored. And I'm like, United at their worst. I think even it was when Oli got sacked.
but again,
I remember
yeah.
Randy.
Michael Carrick was the
Arey, this
caretaker.
no
Michael Car- no,
Randy.
Carrick was the caretaker. It was his last game, and then Ranieri came
So
from the
3-2,
next game,
3-2. We won it
and
3-2.
United won that game 3-2 as well. So it's been a horror stadium for you guys as well to visit. But yeah, go. Let's
But
quickly
as
complete on
Ten
this.
Hag said, eras come to an end. So
One will come next season. At Anfield, that era is going to come to an end. So don't
I
forget.
hope
Guardiola
bhai,
maybe 2 साल
everybody
बचे
here
भाई.
is praying for that. Like
Guardiola,
this is
I
I'm going
how
to tell
I'll
remember
you,
dress
saying
for
he
the
will.
Liverpool downfall.
He's
my
really 25.
prediction, my prediction is post 25, it's going to be a three-horse race between Arsenal, United, and Chelsea. लिख के ले लो. Liverpool and
हो
City
सकता है
are
हो
Okay.
भी
gone.
सकता है हो भी सकता है
Liverpool and City are done. Post
Viewers,
Guardiola go,
viewers
City are
take
done.
note of
I think
this.
25
We'll
he
visit
25
this in a
Guardiola
couple of
gone.
years and we'll
We'll
see how
have
just
this
this turns
on.
out. I mean, none
We'll
of
have it
us
on
would
tape.
be happier. I mean, nobody else would be
We're just
happier
saying this
than the
because
four of
there's no
us.
City and
Yeah.
Liverpool fan over here. We're, we're just we're just trying to make a group amongst ourselves and be
Yes.
like, "Bhai, jeetenge. We will win one day. We will
It's
get
that
on the
meme,
top."
you
Believe,
know,
believe.
there's two rival gangs holding the same bandana. It's that it's that meme happening over here. But
Exactly.
no, basically coming back to the point, as you said, like the worst teams also, worst United team turn up against Arsenal. So that could happen this year as well. So that is a
Hmm.
bet. I don't want to take that who's gonna win, but
Yeah.
I would I won't say I would like Arsenal to win, but I think
Something's telling you Arsenal's going to win.
Arsenal
That's the case. I
this
think.
season has been like that for them. You know, they've
Yeah.
had that extra spark. So
Yeah.
अगर ये season नहीं तो कब? If not now, then when? So
I have been very impressed with the trajectory. With the like Arsenal were ridiculed so much last season towards the end
yeah.
that they bottled it and they did
oh,
this.
enjoyed it a
For
lot.
me, the progress from last season has been commendable, and as a rival fan, I would say that I do have a soft spot, but I will say that the progress has been really good, and I think Arsenal fans should be really happy. Let's move on. Let's move on. We can keep talking on this for hours, but we have to move on to the less relevant teams that don't let us sleep and are making us hate the most beautiful sport. We'll start with Chelsea first and
क्यों भाई क्यों?
take it away, Gobal. What do you want to say? हम लोग का भी time आएगा तुम्हारी. We will also rant. So quickly, you say what you want to say about your performance against 19th place
It's
Burnley at home with 10 men.
it's just the same that it has been week in and week out. It's just we go
Yeah,
ahead every game against a
I just
lower
can't
ranked
believe it.
team,
Yeah.
a mid-table team, whatever it is. Every week we go ahead and then we shit our pants. The defense, the defense, they can't defend set pieces at all. तुम वहाँ Petrovic डाल दो, Sanchez डाल दो, you get Courtois in that team as well. You get the best keeper in the world. The four players ahead of him, they can't defend a set piece. They shit their pants. As soon as the opposition gets a free kick or a corner, मैं बंद करके आग बंद करके मैं ऐसे बैठ जाता हूँ भाई बचा लो अब बस ऊपर वाला ही बचा
Same,
सकता है.
same.
So it's just been that every game this season. And then we are chasing a game again. At 1-1 or
Yeah.
0-0, we are chasing a game again. And then the opposition knows that okay, we can just sit back and they'll make an error again, which happens again. We we score that second goal. I mean, Sterling redeemed himself a bit with that assist. Palmer again. Palmer is Palmer. I mean,
We were talking about signings of the season. We are talking about McAllister, right? In the price to the performance ratio. But for me, the signing of the season at the moment has been Cole Palmer.
yeah.
Because can you envision where Chelsea this season would
Relegation
be without
battle.
Cole Palmer?
Relegation
Absolutely
battle,
relegation
and
battle.
it's not even a joke. We would
Yeah,
have
it's
been
not a
in the
joke. It's yeah.
relegation battle without Cole
There is
Palmer.
Chelsea
banter
would be the
and there
19th
is
place team playing Burnley. 19th place 10 men would be Chelsea, not Burnley.
we also have to come to the fact that the decision that got Burnley down to 10 men, what the hell
Ridiculous.
was that?
Absolutely ridiculous. In the
Absolute
entire first
horrific,
half, what was
horrific.
his name? क्या England क्या नाम था
Darren
referee का?
England.
Darren
Darren
England.
England.
Darren England, yeah.
I mean, he set the tone early on in the game when he gave a yellow card for not even a foul. And then
Yeah.
because he did that, every other foul he was giving out cards. And then that decision, first of all, he decided to give a penalty. But once
Yeah.
he has
Which
given
is
that,
even not, it's not even a
It's
it
not
penalty.
even
wasn't
a
a
penalty.
penalty. And I don't
Yeah.
think if it was not given, Chelsea would have complained.
Exactly. Bro,
Everybody
I was on
except Darren England could see that Mudryk was never getting to that ball.
Exactly. I have seen Chelsea fans on Twitter saying, Burnley fans, you're sorry as to what has happened. They practically handed the game over to Chelsea in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
और मैं भाई सपने देख रहा था Cole Palmer was in my FPL team.
yeah.
I'm like, he's going to score hat trick, 4 goals. And then I was like, I was watching the Spurs game because I wanted to see what Son was doing because he was my captain. And then Google messages saying that, bro, 1-1. I'm like, what the hell? And then I was like,
Arey,
what
so
happened? What happened in that second half, Google?
I had switched off at halftime and I didn't realize that the game had restarted. And then suddenly I just switched the TV on, switched the channel to the game, and
Yeah.
Burnley scored. I was like,
And that was an
what?
amazing goal as well. What a strike that was, though.
It just started. भाई सांस तो लेने दे. मतलब सेटल्ड मैं सोफे में बैठा भी नहीं हूँ भाई गोल मार दी बंदी. So you could see that. I mean, it's been first of all, issues that we have had is both halves, we never start strong.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
first 5 minutes of the half, first 10 minutes of the half, we are sleeping.
Yeah.
So we don't start it well. We take the lead and we shit our pants. It's just the defense has no mentality at all. They're just scared. You can see that in our centre backs that they're scared. When they have the ball at their feet, when there's a player coming at them with the ball at their feet, you can see how scared they are.
Chelsea
Set
also
pieces.
lack a voice on the field to calm them down. I think
Yeah,
there's no
and
leader in that
we
team.
had Thiago
That team
Silva.
The
lacks.
Thiago Silva.
No, he's gone. He's
Exactly.
out of
Thiago.
He's
favor.
gone.
He's gone. Thiago
He's
Silva is done,
fought
and
with
also
Pochettino. His wife has fought with Pochettino. So they
yeah,
fought with the club basically because they were waiting. Like Thiago Silva was never going to sign another contract extension. but he wanted the club to at least offer him one, and it has still never been offered. And so at the end of the season,
And
he's
I
leaving.
think also Thiago Silva is more like he's a leader who leads by example on
Example,
the field.
yeah,
I think
Not as a
Chelsea
voice.
needs exactly Chelsea need a voice on that field. And
and
you look at like the top
last
teams.
season when Graham
Yeah.
Potter took over, we had he had established a leadership group in the team, which consisted
Hmm.
of Jorginho, Thiago Silva, Kepa, which I think I was very happy at that time when I got to know that Kepa was in that leadership circle. They formed a leadership circle, and then they let the owners let every one of those players go.
सबको निकाल दिया भाई. वो 3 प्लेयर का नाम
I'm
दिया, 2
like,
क्लब में ही नहीं अभी, और एक
मैनेजर
बंदा आउट
बैठ
ऑफ
के
फेवर है.
मैनेजर बैठ के वहां लीडरशिप सर्कल बना रहे कि ये लोग ऑन द पिच दे विल बी द वॉइस, दे विल बी द वंस लीडिंग द टीम, एंड देन द ओनर्स कम दे लाइक
Submit.
नहीं नहीं प्रॉफिट मिल रहा है इसको बेचो, नहीं नहीं ये बूढ़ा
That's
हो गया इसको बेचो. I'm like there you see there's no cohesion between the management and the owners.
hmm.
So as you say, I think
And that reflects on
as
the
we have
pitch as well, right? I mean,
said
if
again and again and again and again, the owners are not getting it right. They talk about a
Are you
project, they
worried? Are
talk
you
about a
worried,
project.
Gogol, about this?
Yeah,
Where
I mean,
what do you want to see
I
be
like their
improved?
overall
Like,
project, but they are missing bits and pieces, which they are not ready
hmm,
to accept, I think. Which the owners are being very stubborn. Todd Bowley yesterday came on an interview and said that our greatest weakness is that fans care a lot, and our greatest strength is also that fans care a lot. So he's like, when you can see that the fans are not happy with your decisions, he's like, I understand that the fans are not happy with the decision the ownerships are making, but it's a project. We have a vision. Like, you have a
hmm.
vision, but the fans aren't stupid either. You know, they were promised a seat at the table at the board with the management. That voice is not being heard clearly. So you're missing
But
but
bits and
Google,
what needs to
that's
change?
yeah, because Arsenal were in that spot. Not so. I mean, it's yeah, it's been more than two
Let
seasons
them
now,
take
but
note.
we have had
but you've got the recruitment your
Yeah.
manager wanted, right?
United
as
is not so
as we
far
talked
away.
about at the before the podcast, I don't know if it was in the beginning of the podcast, where I think it was before, where we were talking about the United project and the Chelsea project, how
Hmm.
there is a board of directors and there is a manager
Hmm.
who do not work together. Basically, they are independent roles, as we were
Hmm.
talking about earlier. So I think in a sport like football, in the Premier League, that cannot exist. They have to be on the same page, they have to be coherent, and there has to be some cohesion between the two groups, which I see there is, which I do not see now in Chelsea.
But surely
So
Pochettino signed up with Chelsea knowing what he's going to get as well, right?
and we talked about this earlier. I remember last podcast also we talked about this. And
Hmm.
last to last when I was here, we talked about this. And yeah, he knew what he was signing up for. But now
Hmm.
we are seeing that it is not working. It didn't work
Hmm.
last season, it's not working this season. And it's probably not going to work next season as well. So the project you say that we are building a team, we are building a group of players with the future in sight, all that is fine. But I think the players aren't the problem. The problem lies when the players are receiving two different messages from two different groups. So I think
So
that's
there's
where the problem is.
surely has to be a separation between that those two groups, and there has to be
Yeah,
a coherent
but yeah,
And
structure
Pochettino,
that at yeah,
that's why
like what
I'm
Arsenal have
not.
with Edu and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. They need
yeah.
a sporting
and the
director.
manager needs to be yeah, and the manager
You
also needs to be given
cannot
a voice.
have Todd Bowley as the chairman. A person who has no idea about Premier League, about football, you cannot have him as a chairman. It's as simple as that. There
Yeah.
have been there have been rumors what it's practically been confirmed that he's only there till the next end of next season. But who is he passing it
Yeah, he's
on to?
resigning.
Who is he passing it
Yeah,
on
that
to?
has to
The
be
co-owner, who also has no idea about football, no idea about Premier League.
But
So
wait, what is your current structure right now? Like, do you have like a director of football, a technical director? What's the case with
we have,
Chelsea
but
at the moment?
there's no. It's not like we had in the at the towards the end of Abramovich's era, where we had
Hmm.
former players, players who knew the club inside and
No,
out
that
in
that
technical
necessarily
roles.
does not need
You
to be the
had
case.
you had
Yeah, I don't think.
Marina
I
Jonaskovia
Yeah,
in that position, who was the perfect liaison between the club and the
hmm,
owner.
hmm.
So I think that was a structure that worked very well, where the owners aren't taking decisions. They have a
Yeah,
liaison there to
that
do that work for them. Because Abramovich, he admitted that he didn't know anything about football. That's why he didn't get involved. That's
hmm,
where I see the problem that Boli and Ekbali, they just cannot accept that they don't know this business.
yeah.
They are not ready to hand over the reins to someone who does know the business. They want all the control, all the power, which is never going to work. You can appoint as many technical
I think it was the
directors, sporting
same as
directors
the Glazers.
as you want. You can appoint
Yeah.
them, but you've got to give them the freedom to carry out their duties.
I think Chelsea find themselves, I agree with you. They find themselves in a scenario where when the Glazers came in, I think they're too
Exactly.
late to react to people. I think they got in the whole Brighton structure, but it hasn't worked that
You have
much
to
for
give
them.
them the freedom. I don't see them coming out in the
Yeah,
media making statements. Or like they're not publicly taking actions. So as
yeah.
a fan, I don't see them working.
Because one
All I
thing,
hear is
even
they've
for
been
us,
appointed, this has been appointed, this has been appointed. But then when decisions are taken, it's like Boli has said this, Ekbali has taken this decision. So at
yeah.
the end of the day, they are the one taking the main decisions.
Exactly, because I remember Ratcliffe coming in, he made one thing very clear at the start. He's like, I'm not going to make decisions.
Yeah,
I'm going to hire the best of people, the best in class. I'm going to set up my team. He's done it with getting the COO of City. So
yeah,
Berarda would be the CEO. You will have Dan Ashworth coming in when that gets agreed as the sporting
yeah.
director. You're going to have a technical director below him. And they are all going to work in sync. And then they are going to make decisions
And
as to which is like the perfect what is the perfect
yeah.
decision that needs to be done because they are footballing
And they
people,
are all
right?
renowned names who have achieved
Exactly.
great results in the
I think
past.
even Jason Wilcox is on the
Yeah,
board.
who
Yeah,
was also
He's
at
been
City and now
at
he's at
City for a
Southampton,
while.
who's close to joining. So
He's
when I
resigning.
look at Chelsea, I don't like they've gone, they've got the best of players, they've spent so many billions, but I think they haven't got the right people to support
exactly.
Pochettino at the top, and I feel that should probably be the next step because it isn't that late still. I think Chelsea still have a good core of players that can succeed.
I
So it's
think
not
good
very
is an
late. I think,
understatement. We have a very good core of players.
yeah,
So we have, as Boli also said in the interview yesterday, we have good individual players. We just now
mm,
need to mold them into a team, which
correct.
is one
Yeah,
statement of Boli's that I agree with. We have
yeah,
players with amazing potential who are actually performing good on individual basis every now and then. Not, I
mm,
won't say consistently, but every now and then they show flashes of becoming world class players. So we've got
yeah,
very good players. We just need to get them to work together. When I look at this
mm,
team, I don't see a team. And I've said this before as well. I don't see
yeah,
them as a group. They are all individual players who've just come in.
mm.
They don't know each other well. And that's what happens when you do a
I think
massive, a complete overhaul of the team like we did in the last couple of seasons.
overall is I think fine, but overall without sort of a plan in place or a structure that
Without a
comes with
leader
it.
in place also in the team.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there are a lot of
Uh,
issues that we have highlighted today. But talking about the performance, getting back to the performance this week, I think we can talk about all these problems in the background all we want. But
Yeah,
week in, week out, you want to see results on the pitch. And it's
mm,
just that I think the mentality is not there. I mean, at some point, I feel for the same reasons that I criticized Graham Potter last season, where he didn't have the balls to say, we were shit and go lash out at his players. I think Pochettino is kind of going on the same path.
no, I kind of don't agree with that in
I
one way because it's not very easy because nowadays players are different, Google. Players are built different.
yeah,
I can give you this basic example where Ten Hag did it with Sancho, right? and then he
It
got
sort of backfired
bashed.
and
It backfired because what happens now in dressing rooms are you have cliques in dressing rooms. Like this guy is this guy's best friend. This guy has a group with this guy.
Yeah.
Then you'll have a South American group in the dressing room. You'll have this. So if you go against one player, the group will
No,
take
no,
the
I'm
whole
not
offense to
saying
it.
going against one player. What Ten Hag did with Sancho, I never agreed with that, and you guys know my views on that. I was pretty clear. And it's not about saying ki this individual didn't play right or this individual made mistakes. It's as
Yeah,
collectively as a group saying ki we were just shit. We were not good enough, and just saying that every
yeah.
week
So it.
when he's interviewed post match, he makes
Hmm.
the same excuse. We played good. We played
Yeah,
good.
but
We didn't score more goals than the other team. I'm like, that is not an
see, that is
excuse.
also. But
That
if you
is you're
say that we
stating
were
a
shit,
fact. You're
I know.
stating
But
a
if
that
you
is
fact.
rule number
openly,
one.
if you
Yeah.
openly also say that we were shit, it basically makes it pretty obvious that which are the
I
players
think
he's
it's
been
probably
targeting.
a personal preference of mine as a
Yeah,
fan.
I
I
think
don't
he doesn't
see him
want to
on the
demoralize the
sidelines as
team
well.
further.
Yeah, but the
I
thing is, what I'm saying is, I prefer a coach like Antonio Conte or Jose Mourinho, who would be there on the
Yeah,
sidelines
but then
shouting instructions.
they don't even
exactly.
Yeah,
last more
They
than
don't
two
last more than
seasons.
2 years.
so, but
That's the thing.
yeah, probably that's
They
what I.
lose the dressing room and then they're gone
Guys
after
are
2 years,
forgetting I'm
and
a
then again
Chelsea
you're
fan. I don't care after 2 years.
restarting. But that was the Abramovich era, and that is gone.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
now it's not going to work. I
I
think
think that's
Chelsea
why I said it's probably a
requires
personal
stability.
preference that
Yeah.
I just can't seem to get on board with managers like this who are just
Mm.
sitting in the dugout even when their team is losing to a 10
Football is
man
changing.
Burnley, not losing, but
Yeah, I
drawing to
know.
a 10-man Burnley at home, and the manager's just sitting in
That's
the
as good as
dugout
losing. Don't worry.
saying, just doing nothing, not even
Yeah.
expecting a reaction from his players. So I just can't seem to get on board with that. That's why I don't know, I'm still not sure about Pochettino. I wouldn't
Mm.
say that I want him out of the club, I'm against him or anything. Just little doubts starting to creep in.
But I think the
That's all
squad
I'll
size
say.
plays a huge role in Chelsea's problems because Poch doesn't have a
I mean,
core
squad
15.
size, leave squad size.
Squad size has
We
been reduced.
injuries. We have
Injuries also
with
are a lot. Yeah.
Malagusto going off in the game with a apparent hamstring injury. We now have a full 11 of players out injured.
Mm.
We can actually field an injured 11 because even
Injuries
our
have.
number one keeper who started the season as our number one keeper, Robert
He's
Sanchez,
not anymore. He
he is
shouldn't be
injured
anymore.
again.
Yeah.
So we have an injured keeper as well, injured back four, injured midfielders, injured forwards. We have a full injured 11. So I think we talk about United's injury problems, Liverpool's injury problems, but Chelsea's has been far, I mean, I won't say far worse, but equally worse.
No. In numbers, I
Chelsea
think
have
Newcastle are
had,
the worst hit. Newcastle are the worst
Newcastle.
hit.
but if you
United next,
see
and
the
then Chelsea
most
have been the worst
most
injury.
number of injuries and most games missed because of injury, I think Chelsea is the one who's topping the list.
Chelsea are definitely in the top five,
And
but
you when you lose
everyone has been
players
affected.
like when you lose players like Christopher Nkunku, who was supposed to be a talisman, you lose
Yeah,
players
it's
like Romeo
gonna be
Lavia,
difficult.
who was such a hyped, a big signing, who was
Didn't
never.
even kick a ball. I think
He
Lavia
played one
was
game.
okay,
Not
but
He
played.
played one
He
game.
played a game?
yeah,
One
Oh my
game.
god.
yeah, Admini.
He came back from injury, played one game, got injured in that game, and it was a completely different injury.
But
It wasn't the same injury, a completely different injury. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, it's
He got there was a Crystal Palace player just kicked him in the thigh. So it was
yeah.
a complete unfortunate. It was an unfortunate injury, but when you have players like that missing the entire season, practically,
Mm,
it does affect the team. Reece James, oh, we shouldn't even talk about him.
yeah.
And
We'll move
there's
it along. I think we can keep
yeah,
going on. We also have to preview the United and the
United.
Chelsea game a little
Time to
bit.
get to
Raghav, but
United.
quickly getting to United, we can definitely say that I don't know how we got through that game with a point. Former Chelsea boy scoring. Might do it again as well.
Blood
Give
thought he
me,
won the game.
but yeah, any fan would at that time celebrate. Okay, so don't
To be honest,
come across.
seeing that, watching that game, watching Mason Mount score, as I said the
Yeah,
last time I was here, that would have been a typical United result. where they play
Yeah, it would
shit
have been.
all
Yeah,
game
yeah.
and then
But
they
I
get
can
a
I can
free goal and
hand
just
I
win.
can hand by down say that this was the second worst performance we've had this season. Like in terms of completely, we've not even been dominated by City that much
Yeah,
as to how we've been dominated by
Same.
exactly.
Brentford in this last
Yeah,
game. I don't know what happened. The players look lost. They didn't have any tactical acumen in them. They were beat in every which way, and I just can't understand how Brentford didn't find the back of the net. And the only player I think who I can praise is Onana. He's
Ona.
been the change, the revelation has been brilliant. I think one of the top keepers in the league currently has 7 clean sheets. He's just one behind Raya, and also his shot stopping abilities percentages are way high. So the one player that kept us in the game, Raghav, just quickly to preview what did you make of that game?
I don't know what was going on that pitch for around for the whole of the game, for the whole of the 100 minutes that I watched. There was nothing in this team. Like they were second to every ball.
Hmm.
They looked lost. Wan Bissaka had an absolute shocker. I don't know what he was doing at left back. Like left back, I he had an absolute shocker.
No,
The
I think
midfield was completely open.
yeah,
There
the
was
last goal is also his mistake actually.
Van
It's
Bissaka is
Van
obviously
Bissaka's
Barca's
mistake
mistake. It's obviously his
because
mistake.
that's a switch in your head because the
Yeah,
line has
exactly.
come forward and he's keeping
Exactly.
that guy
Exactly.
off. He's keeping him onside.
So
So
that's I don't know what was going on with this team. Rashford looked lost. Hoyland, I don't know. I have had he had no support. Bruno, there was nothing. He couldn't show his magic. As a team, I think I don't know what is gonna happen in the run-in. If we play like this for a further 2 games, I think even West Ham and Newcastle can overtake us. If this is the state for the next 2 or 3 games, I don't think that we're even finishing seventh in the league.
no, I think we'll get sixth. But what I'm trying to say is that the similarities with Chelsea are so eerily same. Like score a goal, concede quickly after scoring a
yeah,
goal, right? Starting the game, I think we started the game very well, but I think Brentford got to know what our things were and
Yeah,
they got back into the game. Uh, the concentration is not there in this team. There's a lack in there's
yeah,
a lack in
yeah,
cohesiveness.
yeah.
So there's some that is something which is real. Like what I thought is the Liverpool game was so good. I thought taking that momentum
Exactly,
coming into this
exactly,
game, Brentford should be a game that you should win, right?
exactly.
Considering how we ended. And that is also similar that I've seen with Chelsea. Like they have a good performance, but they are not able to build on that. What I felt that not only for United, but for a lot of teams, what has affected them was this international break. I think it
yeah,
screwed the
Uh,
momentum completely for
completely.
every team
Yeah,
because I didn't see any team look at their best this season.
yeah,
Yeah, there were results, teams won, but there were a lot of teams which look rusted. And I
yeah,
think this international break does not make sense at all. For the league, if you are not playing at home against a, I would say like a Sheffield or something like that, you're going to have a tough game because your rhythm is broken completely
yeah,
for 2 weeks. So I think that was a bummer for every team. I'm not trying to give that as an excuse as to why we failed. We were crap. But coming to the game that we are going to preview, it we are going to Stamford Bridge. United have not been beaten by Chelsea for like I think 16 or 17
it
games.
Mm.
is.
United have
Yeah,
not lost a game to Chelsea. Uh, Traditionally, Stamford Bridge 0-0, 1-1 in the league. In the league,
in the
Yeah, yeah,
league.
I'm
yeah.
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
in the
in
league.
the
yeah.
Yeah,
league. Yeah,
not in knockout
yeah,
competitions in the league. So Stamford Bridge, what do you make of the chances, Gogul? I'll start with you quickly.
I mean,
Going into
after
this,
seeing
what
our
do you feel?
last game, I
And
think United, if United start well, it's their game to lose. I
Hmm.
mean, but
or if United goes down to 10 men, they have a better chance of drawing it.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, I think
but
if it's about who comes with what approach, with what mindset. If
hmm.
United come there to get a point and they sit back,
Yeah. I don't think United are
which
going to
is not
come there
going
to
to
get a
happen,
point.
which is not going to
Yeah, I
happen,
don't
of
think.
course. But
Yeah.
it's just how the teams start the game, I think. Whoever
Hmm.
starts
but
better
I think for me, it's like
gets it.
which
is
team
there
decides to show up.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
United and Chelsea have been so inconsistent this
True.
season. It's like
Correct.
one game week they look like world beaters, and the other
Correct.
day they just look like a Sheffield, you know.
That's why
So,
I think it's going to be United's game to lose, because if United
mm,
come with an attack, with an attacking mindset, with an attacking approach, we
mm,
are not a team who's good at sitting back and absorbing pressure.
yeah, and United also
I mean,
like
we did that
to
against
play
City,
against teams that
but
attack them. Yeah.
we did that against City, but that was just a monster disaster that turned up that day. So,
Mm,
but I don't think we're a good team to sit back and absorb pressure and then counter or something like that. So,
mm.
if
But what I
United,
feel, Gogol, is that if Chelsea try to attack United, that will favor the hands of United, because
yeah,
I feel that
Hmm.
United don't like
I
playing
mean,
teams that sit back.
Jovio, I don't trust our defense at all. If we attack, we
Yeah,
concede on the counter. If we sit back, we concede on set pieces or cross.
yeah.
So I don't trust our defense at all, and I'm very skeptic about this game because
Mm.
I have a feeling it's going to be a United win, and I'm not going to hear the end of it for the rest of the week. So I
नहीं
think
नहीं
it's
बराबर भाई
time.
जिंक्स कर लो जिंक्स करवा लो बस वही बाकी है
Yeah,
I'm
that's just trying to act
ये
that
रिवर्स
if
साइकोलॉजी
Chelsea
कर रहा है
win,
ये
yeah,
yeah.
हाँ
I'm ready to
ये पॉडकास्ट को
uninstall
साला 10 बार
WhatsApp,
चलाएगा ये
Instagram, everything for the next 4 or 5 days.
I don't think it's going to be that bad, at least from not from my side. But I think Raghav, you'll have to hear the brunt from him.
I've been hearing the brunt from him. The last time that they beat us, it was that I think it was in 2018 or 19 something when we
Other
lost
three
1-0 at
one,
Stamford Bridge.
yeah, yeah. No,
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 we lost
no.
1
Yeah.
0 1 at
Oh
Stamford
yeah,
Bridge.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we that Alvaro Morata scored a goal, a solitary goal.
Mm,
Oh.
I didn't hear the end of it for like a week, so that's why since then I've been terrified of losing to Chelsea in general.
mm.
Losing to them in this season is even more terrifying because of
Considering
where
where they've
Chelsea
been.
is.
Yeah. But
But we
Raghav, your
have,
prediction, what do
I
you
But I
think is
don't
going
think,
to
know if
happen? I'll come to you, Raghu. What do you think is
yeah,
going to
yeah.
happen, Raghav?
अन्य
You want
कर
my
ले तू भी
prediction or
जिंक्स
my
कर ले
Yeah, your
अरे कर
prediction.
ले तू भी
my
जिंक्स कर ले
I'm gonna I feel like it's gonna be a draw. It's gonna be a
That's
like
the
a
classic
customary
United Chelsea
draw.
game, 0-0 1-0.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It
it's
is
gonna be
1-1. 0-0 is
one.
very, very
Yeah,
The
yeah,
United
yeah.
Chelsea.
It's
yeah,
very United
Royal
Chelsea.
Rumble WWE match. Who wins? Liverpool Chelsea
Even
nil
last
nil or
season, that
Chelsea
was the
Man U
thing.
0-0? Which curse wins?
So, a draw for you. Raghu, what did you have to say quickly?
No, so I don't know if Ten Hag is trying new formations though. Like I think
No,
the
he's
form.
not trying anything new. He's playing
अबे
with
टीम ही
whatever
नहीं
he
है ट्राई क्या
has.
करेगा
अरे he's like भाई भगवान बचा ले बस.
जो है, whatever he has, that those players he's using.
No,
बंदा
because
One
दो
when
is
you
राइट बैक
coming.
लेके खेल रहा है क्या फॉर्मेशन ट्राई करे वो दो राइट बैक है उसके पास बस दो लेफ्ट बैक इंजर्ड है
but
दो सेंटर बैक इंजर्ड है मिडफील्ड में कुछ नहीं है अटैक में कुछ नहीं है
सही है भाई.
wait, but didn't
It's gonna be a
you
classic
all played
game.
a different? No, you all played a different formation when you won against Everton, right?
नहीं
No,
we played classic
we had
4-2-3-1
play. See, United and Chelsea. What has happened with them is that they haven't been able to put a consistent 11 for like
हाँ
3 to 4 games. They haven't been able to get that consistency. What happens is that one player comes in, another
Yeah,
goes, right? So it's always been like they've not been able to have their squad of players, and that's why I've always been kept saying that judge a manager when he has his core with him, right? If that core can play together. I remember United recently went on a 4 game winning run, 5 game winning run, and it
yeah,
was that consistent core that he had which was working for him, right? Holland was scoring goals. McTominay was not in the team, right? Whenever McTominay is in the team, United they start losing or they start drawing because there's no composure in midfield. In that run, and Martinez was playing in defense. Casemiro was there. So when you have like that's what, for example, I'm saying. You remove Declan Rice from that team. You remove Gabriel from Arsenal. There's going to be a drop off in performances,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's what has happened with United a little bit and a little bit with Chelsea as well because they've not been able to consistently put their players in, and that's why they're suffering. But we can, like I said, we can go on talking about it. Otherwise, it'll be a 2 hour show. But Raghu, what do you feel as a neutral? What's going to happen in this game?
I think it's going to be a Chelsea win,
बोला
or a,
साला
like,
यूनाइटेड हेटर भाई
Why do you
भाई
think
क्या
it's gonna?
दिन है. चेल्सी फैन बोल रहा आर्सेनल विल विन द टाइटल. आर्सेनल फैन बोल रहा चेल्सी
Yeah,
विल विन द गेम. भाई
this opinion you'll only get on the full time ultras, and that's why you guys need to subscribe, and that's why you need to like the video and
unbiased,
comment as well.
unbiased एकदम.
Any fan can support any team.
I said Liverpool will win the title. United fan बोल रहा है Liverpool will win the title.
The craziest of opinions. But why do you think Chelsea will win, Raghu?
No, I think it is so at such games where it could be 0-0, 1-1, it is all about maybe a one-man show, a player who turns up in that moment. I feel Cole Palmer, the way he's been playing, could be
Hmm.
that guy for Chelsea.
I
That's
think
actually a quite a good
he
One
has.
shout.
one line explanation.
By the
ज्यादा
way,
United fan है
Cole
इसलिए
Palmer
hype.
has more goal contributions than Jude Bellingham this season.
21
Right?
goal contributions. I was just
Yeah.
covering the United and the Chelsea game today. 21 goal involvements he has this season, which is
Which is that just league?
Massive.
Because
This
it's
is
I
30
don't
massive.
plus
know
in all
whether it's more
competition.
than I
It's
don't.
30
Yeah,
plus
that's
all
just league.
competition.
21 in the league. So it's mad. Like I haven't seen a
Jude
player
Bellingham
coming
has
in
20 goals this season, just goals.
He has
who
29 goals plus
single-handedly.
assist, and Cole Palmer has 30 goals plus assists this season
It's absolutely. I haven't seen a
in all
player
competitions.
single-handedly win or or do something for his club. The last time I saw it was Van Persie when he
Eden
came and he won
Hazard.
the
Eden Hazard.
single-handedly won the title. But anyway, we'll keep the banter for later. Guys, that's all we have for the show. It was a long one, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be there. I think the start of next week to decode. We have games in the midweek as well, and we have some on the weekend as well. So we'll be there to like kind of review both the game weeks. So stick with us and do the usual drill. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and let us know, especially what you think. Who do you think is favorite to win the title, and who do you think is going to win between Chelsea and United? Let us know in the comments below. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.